Hi everybody, welcome back. Nuts and Bolts here for another week. How good is I've just realised that I changed the webcam frame in the other scene, but I forgot to do it here. So I'm standing to one side. So give me a second. I'm going to make it look like I'm not all on my own lonesome here.
All by yourself.
Don't want to be.
Oh no! You'll make me cry, Jim.
That's all right. There we go. That's better.
Yeah, that's nice.
It is. And how are you tonight, Natty?
I'm doing really, really well. I just had a massive burrito and I'm probably going to have a food coma in about an hour. So the timing should work out well for the podcast.
Oh, yeah. And I've got some nice zucchini slice still left that Pete left behind for me. So,
it's nice
that's
of him. So nice.
It was.
And how nice is it that his wife dropped off the zucchini slice?
So nice. Thank you, Liz, because I think I'm eating more of this than Pete does. Yeah.
You get to be a benefactor
That's
of the generosity.
So we've had some pretty good action in World of Tanks. Like last Friday's games, god damn, they were so close. So hang on, let me do that one. New buttons in the studio. Have to work out where everything is.
New studio for anybody just tuning in to just Nuts and Bolts. Straight is working out of the new studio in Perth, which is super exciting.
It's so good. It's so good. Doing the weekly show in person with somebody, it's just, you don't realise, that's the first in-person show I've done. Like all the other shows that I've done have always been online through Discord or through OBS Ninja or something like that. And just being able to sit here in person and, actually use good mics, because Pete, being the radio person, knows good mics and they're better than my job at home.
Yeah. Nay Palmer has just said in chat, did somebody say tanks?
Yes, somebody did say tanks, Nay Palmer. Although I'm not sure why you'd want to think that, because I'm pretty sure that, especially on Tundra last week, you got taken out quite a few times there.
Oh.
But that said, Tundra were Perth's good map, and you did come back on Mines and give Perth some a little bit of a seeing to there. So let's talk some results first. So Conquerors went down 3-2 in a tiebreaker to the Bulldogs. So that's putting a bit of a dampener on Conquerors' season there, with only, I think there's 3 more rounds to go before playoffs. So Conquerors need to start picking up their games again, getting some of those wins on the board so that they can maintain this top spot in the final. Bulldogs, and that lifts them up a little bit, keeps them in touch with the finals as well, so they might be able to just sneak in there. You never know.
It's anybody's game still, I think, if you look at the points.
Oh, yeah. We'll have a look at the ladder in a minute here, but the next game was Perth Panther and South Sydney Scorpions there. So Napalm playing for the Scorpions there. Almost said Panthers. That's wishful thinking there. Although, but yeah, it was a very close game. And an interesting fact, I was going back watching the VOD for this. Perth Panthers picked Tundra for their map and Scorpions picked Mines. Both of them have not dropped a game on their respective map picks on those maps this season. Perth has won all their games on Tundra and Scorpions have won all their games on Mines.
Very cool.
So you can tell they've definitely got some favourites. And I know, I haven't seen a lot of other teams play Mines or Tundra really for that matter. So I think that they're sort of becoming a little bit specialised in those maps, which I do like. If you've got a strong map, you play it, that's where you're going to get your wins from.
Mm.
Then in good news for Natty, but not so good news for the Sentinels, Adelaide Action X bested the North Sydney Sentinels 3-2 in their tiebreaker as well. So all 3 games went to tiebreakers, all 6 teams picking up at least 1 point.
Yeah, that does make things really interesting when you're looking at how the ladder goes, where everybody crept up a little bit, but nobody really made massive gains.
Well, that's it. When we do have a look at the ladder, we've got the Scorpions and the Sentinels both on the same point. So I think the Scorpions must have the head-to-head against Sentinels. I think that's how that gets decided. I'm not 100% just there, but Conquerors holding on to 3rd spot there, and Action X have creeped up into 4th place, just a little bit ahead of the Panthers there. But that could change next week.
Nay Palmer in chat, he's just said Sentinels are ahead here. It's just a typo.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I pulled this off the VOD for last week's I'll get the word soon, broadcast of the ANZPL. So it probably just got put up there and go, hey, everybody's on the same points. This is how it ends up. So, but either way, first and second, I think they're doing the finals a little bit differently this year. After we've seen that first place plays off against fourth, and Panthers were playing North Sydney Sentinels last season, and Panthers won and got straight into the grand final. So instead this year they're doing like an upper bracket and lower bracket. So first place second, first goes into the grand final, second place the loser of the winner of the third versus fourth match. So it just makes it a bit fairer, I think. If you spent the whole season doing so well and you finish first and second, you getting that second chance, that's what you want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, It sounds like a better way to run it.
That's it. Oh, and the I apologise for how small. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better.
Oh, there you go. You can zoom in.
Double clicks work. So you can see the winning teams featured. Well, actually not, because there's two players on there from teams that didn't win, but it just shows you how close it was with the three ties, with Dongalord coming out at front from the Action X and Russian from the Scorpions leading the way, Mary Turnip Day and Cindy from the Conquerors and Sentinels respectively. Both of them got the tiebreaker loss, but then Saxon as well from the Action X. So a good spread of players there, and you can see I'm a little bit surprised that Cindy gets picked so little. I would have thought that his percentage would have been up a little bit higher there. He's a good player.
Well, underrated, yeah.
That's it. Maybe a bit of a bargain there. Put your head in the fantasy league points, but Saxon definitely at 1 star. Who wouldn't want him in your team? So next week, the round 8 of the ANZPL, Bulldogs taking on the Scorpions, both coming off their tiebreaker wins. And I think, Bulldogs beat Scorpions the last time they met as well. So is it going to be a repeat, or are we going to see Scorpions solidify their spot at the top of the ladder there? And then, of course, we have the Christchurch Conquerors versus the Sentinels. So that one actually I think is going to be a pretty good game, but not my pick for game of the week. Because the last one, the Panthers versus the Action X, and yes, I know this may be a little bit biased because I'm a Panthers fan, Natty the Action X fan, but I legitimately think that this game has the potential to be a really entertaining game. Like, Panthers have been playing a really good brand of tanks recently, and Adelaide Action X coming off the win as well, or the tiebreaker win at least. Like, anything could happen there.
Absolutely. I think with them being next to each other on ladder in 4th and 5th means they're both going to be scrapping to be being in that top 4. So it should be a very exciting matchup.
That's it. Yeah, they'll be fighting to get into that 4th spot and just get a little bit of an advantage over each other. Because I need to have a look ahead and see what the other 2 rounds leading into the playoffs and what the matchups are there. Because I'm trying to think who they haven't played in the second round robin bit here.
That's all right. I can always leave that.
That's right. That can be a next week thing when I'm a little bit better set up and not as hurried to get things sorted. So we'll have a bit more of a normal setup. I think I'll get all the overlays sorted out. But yeah, so that was the ANZPL. But don't forget as well, there's more tanks. There's the ANZ B League too that happens every Monday night. So this one, you can see a little bit that it has been a little bit one-sided. There have clearly been teams that have been better than the others. And even to the point where there's definitely a clear 2 that are out the front. But and you can see that in the results here with the Cairns Comets and the Wollongong Wolverines, where it went to the first tiebreaker of the season there as well. So that's that was good to see, and it was a great display of tanks. And these are the top 2 teams, so you knew it was going to be close. It was just great to see that battle happen between them.
I'm excited. My pick, the Badgers, seem to clean sweep there.
That's it. But yeah, Badgers did well, and the Centurions did well against the Archers. Archers came so close a couple of times. Like, they had a couple of good plans, but just didn't execute as well as they could have. So, which is a little bit to be expected. Like, they've got the name of the former ANZPL team, but it's none of the players. So it's a brand new lineup. So they'll get better. it'll come, and we'll be able to see a lot more tanks coming out from there, and especially like between whoever wins this season has a chance at promotion into the ANZPL as well. So there's that they could be fighting for too.
Yeah. So how does that leave their ladder?
I forgot to include it.
Is
I
that
know this is next week's
That's all right.
game. I know the Comets are on top, and with Wollongong second, and I think Bundaberg Badgers are third. Who was the other one? Centurions fourth, and Hellcats and Archers are tied for last. Yeah, they both unfortunately haven't picked up a game yet, but they're playing each other this week, so it might be a chance for one of them to get some points.
Excellent.
But yeah, with the Wolverines taking on the Badgers, that'll be an interesting fight because the Badgers have been doing quite well as a team that's just sort of formed. That could go anywhere as well. Although I do think the Comets will outlast the Centurions there and take out that middle match there.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget, you can see all the Tanks action ANZPL Friday nights and B-League on Monday nights over on twitch.tv/ANZ. Twitch.tv/World of Tanks ANZ. I've got too many ANZs in my head at the moment.
That's okay. It's a bit on the brain at the moment, ANZ, OCE.
It is. And there's lots of OCE stuff going on as well because MSI kicked off last night. And I have to say, it was a little bit weird because I watched all the games.
I know. How amazing is it that it's being held in South Korea, so we are getting to see all the games in a reasonable time slot.
I'm sitting there, they're getting ready to end, and I'm going, wait, it's not like 3 a.m. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm getting to sleep before midnight. This is peak.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's so good. And the quality of league that we're seeing, like the teams are so dominant. And you do feel sorry for some of the other teams. Like I watched RNG take on, who I think they won last MSI. Because I know they were in the group with Pentanet at MSI last year. So I think they went on and won it. But they did really well anyway, either way. And watching them face off against this poor little Turkish team, yeah, it was like you could see him at the end. It was like, did anybody get the number of that bus?
I do really like the format of MSI where it's just one team per region. So even those stronger regions where when we see them at Worlds, they've got, 2, 3, 4 teams from their region competing. It feels a bit more like an underdogs tournament, that they've got a bit more of a fighting chance when it's just one team per region.
I think you're right. I like the format because let's not beat around the bush here. We are a minor region when it comes to league. We do our best and we go to these competitions, but the league and because of our geographical position as much as anything and how the market's not quite big enough. But I'm getting a bit beyond it because all those reasons are beside the point. But the fact that we do get to go and compete against the world's best, it's like I said when Pentanet went over there, the experience that players get from going in there, it's crazy. Like they talk with all the other players and they mingle and just they learn these new play styles. And Peace came back and we're the same. Order are going to come back and they're going to be the same as well. It's just going to be amazing to see.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what you were saying, where it's building the capacity in the region. Every time we have a team go internationally and compete, they bring all that skills and knowledge back. It's just such a shame that the OPL was dissolved when it was, because I felt like we kind of were starting to get a bit of traction with the players that had that international experience in the region. And then we lost a whole lot of them to NA and a few other places. So I feel like a lot of them are coming back now. We're getting that experience, like we're seeing with Biopanther. So he's the player on Order that went over with Pentanet last year, and he's bringing a lot of experience to Order. And you can see that as he's captaining this team through these early stages.
Yeah, and having gone through it before, he would know what it's like, and he would know what they're up against. And half the reason that I think Pentanet did as well as they did was they had no expectations on themselves, and they just had fun. And I really hope Biopanther's bringing that to Order as well, because it's hard. You go over there and you're playing off against these teams, and they're so good, and you can get disheartened that you're just getting beaten and beaten and beaten. But as long as you're having fun and you're taking something from those games, that'll be great. And even like I watched them play against G2 last night, Order that is, and they were doing all right. They took a few solo kills, which I thought was quite impressive. A bit of solo bolo action there, but just the experience of G2 was a little bit too much for them. So even as they were getting these kills, G2 were getting ahead in gold, and they took towers, and it's just little bits and pieces where Order can go and review the game and go, okay, here's where we went wrong. We can do better.
Yeah, I think that G2 just had the edge. They were just doing that little bit better in laning. Team fights, they just seem to have their synergies working a little bit better. And I think as well, it's always really interesting seeing the different regions and what might be a meta in one region isn't in another. So we had what is considered wild OCE drafting. That's always seems to be a little bit off meta. And then they were facing against
it was Twitch.
like a
I want
Viego
Twitch,
pick,
damn
which
it.
is not something we'd see that often in OCE. So it always brings that extra element of chaos for them to try and navigate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Cool. But another thing, like somewhere in MSI where LCO in particular, because there are a couple of Australian casters there, but they're not part of LCO. I'll get my TLL.
That's okay.
TLA's
so
right.
many acronyms.
Oh, yeah. There was a post from one of the LCO caster crew, Rusty, I think it was, saying that none of the LCO broadcast team was being included in the MSI caster crew, which I think is a little bit not so good, because and it's not as if they're far away, but we've got some quality. Even if you're only taking like Mac, just for the entertainment value, it's. Like I would pay to see. I would fund Mac to go over there myself. But
look, that moustache needs to travel, man.
It's
needs designed for international viewers. Yeah. It needs to be seen.
It's needs to be a world-renowned mustache. Damn it. But even like Skimmy and Rusty, why am I having such a hard time with Rusty's name today? But
look, it's okay. You've done the double cast. You're in a new place.
And my adrenaline's up, and just being in a new place. But Rusty and Skimmy, they're quality shot by shot casters. So like there is an opportunity to take some of these guys and give them experience as well.
I don't know if you saw it on the broadcast when they were talking before the Order and G2 game just about what Order's odds were. And one of the North American casters was flipping a bottle. You know how you have a half-filled water bottle and you flip it and you try and land it on its base?
Hang on, I think we've got that
matchup, right?
Hang
it's
on.
Not that Order can't beat G2.
Hang on. Let me set it up properly. Why will my mouse not go over there? I want that one only. Oh my god, I'm stuck.
You're stuck. Oh no.
I'm stuck. Hang
Transitions.
On.
That's okay.
No, it's not the transitions. It's like I literally couldn't drag the window from one place to another, and I don't know why. But that's okay. I got there. Let's make this full screen before.
But I am very bad at flipping this.
Go away. All right, here we go. Magic
matchup.
So yeah,
it's not that Order.
This is what you were talking about, Natty.
Yeah.
But I am very bad at flipping this. Pentanet flipped this really well last year.
Oh, no. Okay,
they were able.
So they're gonna lose to G2 the first time.
Just because you can do it once doesn't mean you're gonna be able to do it again. So
yeah, but you got to do it once.
And Jed here is saying they can't even do it once.
No, so that's two. There's 4 games played. The third one, right? You need to do
they
one
play
more.
4 times.
You need to do one more to represent all 4. There you go. So the
matchup, right?
Yeah.
It's not that Order.
Yeah. So just quietly, if they do end up winning that third game and losing the fourth game, I'm going to be...
It will be hilarious.
Yeah, it will be very funny.
I did see Skimmy share that with a comment, and I sent him a very cheeky comment, which was, is this the part of your analysis that you're missing? Is that why you didn't get to go to MSI? So he said he's going to practice his water flipping for Worlds.
That's it. Game 1 of Split 2 LCO. We want to see that water bottle flipping.
But I guess as me as an OCE spectator watching this international tournament, and our bracket has a North American team, European team, and the OCE team, and all of the promos that they're doing are just completely disregarding order.
Yeah.
Like, and there's obviously history between Europe and NA, especially with these teams that are involved in our bracket, but I feel like it's not doing a very good job of building our region, and it was something that I think Pabu and Ubisoft did when they went over. They just amped up their personalities 110%. They were doing all these silly shenanigans, which I think brought attention to our region, and even Wingardium on social media was doing a real good job of, trolling some of the other teams and having a laugh when the guys were losing and putting out funny tweets. And I see some of that coming from Order, but it's not at the same level. Like, we have to really fight for our screen time in OCE, which is a shame. But, maybe that's something that the guys, if they get the chance to go to Worlds, if Order are lucky enough to go, maybe they need to, ramp up the silly.
Hire Wingardium. Get him on board again. But
look, I think it's probably a learning experience for everybody involved, because just how other people will respond to you on social media does matter a lot as well. The Pentanet had a lot of really good feedback from Brazil, which Order aren't benefiting from necessarily this time. So,
well, that's it. You can make all the best content in the world, but unless somebody get eyes on it, it's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, fingers crossed it's not over for Order. They did have another game today where they faced off against Evil Geniuses. Evil Genius. I always want to pluralize it.
Well, there are more than one of them. Like, I know the team's called Evil Genius, but there's multiple of them. maybe the owner's the Evil Genius.
I don't know if you ever saw a movie called Airheads, but that was a movie with Brendan Fraser, and he was in a band called the Lone Rangers. And
they took over a radio station to get their album played.
But the joke being that their name was Lone Rangers. Yeah. I feel like that with Evil Geniuses in my head.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Order lost to Evil Genius tonight, and it wasn't as close as the G2 game yesterday. So fingers crossed they can come back. They're not playing again now until tomorrow. So they've got a bit of time to review and come back and really show a strong performance.
Yep. Fingers crossed for them. I hope they do bring something out of their reviews and come back again. Is it G2 they're playing again tomorrow?
I don't know. Their draw was quite weird because I think that for the first 2 nights they just had single games and then it kind of ramped up. The last night they've got 4 games.
Oh wow. Nice.
So just because it is the group of 3, I'm not sure what their lineup is tomorrow off the top of my head.
That's all right. Well, fingers crossed they do get there. But if you are a Perth local League of Legends esports team, Pentanet are actually doing something that you could perhaps benefit from. So I was actually sitting in Rogue, who is the support player for Pentanet.gg. I was in his stream and he kept saying, oh yeah, they're having a team meeting over in Perth. He's gonna fly over here and just be in that and do some training and whatnot. And then I noticed on social media that they're doing some training camps for 2 lucky Perth teams. So if you're local to Perth and you want to get some training in under the what they come third in the LCO split 3? No, Split one for 2022. Too many numbers. That's what it is. But yeah, if you want to get some more experience, check out pentanet.gg socials. Check out their website. The registrations are open now for that. I think they open, actually, yes, they closed the 16th of May. I knew I had a date here somewhere in the 16th of May.
You got it.
That's it. But yeah, so the registrations close on the 16th of May and the session is on the 22nd of May. So it's happening pretty quickly.
It's a great opportunity, absolutely right, for any Perth-based teams that can jump in.
Hell yeah. And I know like Summoner Society in Australia is a big like grassroots League of Legends community. So I don't know if they've got any Perth teams, but it might be worth checking out. Just as a side note, I was talking to Natty about this a bit earlier, but I had a new guy start at my my day job today and was talking to him about what I do as a hobby, and we started talking about League of Legends and said, oh yeah, MSI starting, and I was getting a bit excited. And he said, oh, how long have you been watching? And I've gone, oh, only a couple of years. And he's going, cool. I went across as a coach for Chiefs to Mexico in a few years ago, and I'm going, sorry, what? Yeah, so the guy I'm currently working with is an ex-coach for League in Chiefs. Fat Cat was his handle.
That's amazing. Like Australia, I think, is so small, and just for you to have somebody in your workplace that's travelled internationally with League of Legends, that's just incredible.
Most people have never heard of esports, but yep, this guy's been a coach. Yeah.
So good. It's so good.
You know what else is good? We're getting more Halo esports. So the Kansas City major has not long been over and done with, but Halo released the next lot of updates for their road to. They've got. I need to look into this a bit more, and haven't had quite time. But they've got a major in Orlando, but then they've got a world championship as well. So I'm not quite sure what the world championship is. As if maybe they bring back top teams from the Kansas City major and the Orlando major, and then they play. I don't know. I have to look into that because that's different to the major.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because it seems like they've got multiple majors and then worlds equivalent, which is weird for us because I think we're used to just one major and then like MSI, for example, with League, and then the worlds. Major
is the international event type thing, so it'll be interesting to see. And like if you're in Australia as well, we've got the Split 2 stuff happening. So there's a weekly free-for-all that's happening commencing the 23rd of May. So that's happening pretty soon. And I think the idea of that is like you get points, and the more you play, it's basically like a ranked, and the best players will end up best players because it's free-for-all. So there's no teams in free-for-all. There's also like a pro series, an open series, until you get to the ANZ qualifiers and regionals, and the winner of the regionals goes over to the Orlando major.
Yeah, I really love that they've got the mix of game modes. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is interesting because I don't know too many other, like there's different multiplayer modes, but when you get an esport, it's basically just the one thing. Like League of Legends is the one style. You don't have, well, not that I know of anyway, but the ARAM World Championships sort of thing. You don't have like World of Tanks and the stuff that's going on. There's one sort of competition, and even when they go international, there's like one sort of competition, and that's the type of game that you play. But with Halo Infinite esports and the HCS, it's that they play all the different games. Like every match is a best of 5. I think, best of 5, and they play Oddball, they play Capture the Flag, they play Strongholds, they play Slayer, and the best ones win. So you have to be good at every game type.
Yeah, it creates a really, really interesting environment, I think, especially for you as a spectator, getting to see the strengths and weaknesses of different teams and different game modes as well. It is quite unique for an esport. I know that TFT, talking about the next set that's coming out, they're investing a bit more in a duos mode that's been running as kind of like a casual mode, and potentially that's something that they could be bringing to international competition. But it's certainly not common.
No, that's right. It's and I think it adds something different. You have to be flexible in the way you play because they are totally different game types. Like I watched a fair bit of the Kansas City major. The way they move the odd ball around and just position it where they want it, so they don't grab it and just run to the position. They grab it and throw it to where they're going. Like it's even the capture the flag is the same sort of thing. It's very, very different to watch and very different to how I play, definitely.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like when you explain something like NFL, so American football, to someone, and then you actually have them watch the game and you see like whole teams change sides and like the offensive line or the defensive line and all this kind of extra stuff going on, that if you've got money and support and coaches, that kind of extra brain power makes a real difference compared to, us just jumping in on a casual game on the weekend.
That's it. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say I can't make it in Halo? Because you're probably right.
I was going to say, I think you might be getting a bit closer to me with your reflexes.
Have they got like an over 30s league? I'll happily play in that.
Oh, that's a really good idea for esports.
Like a veterans league.
Veterans league. Because they have it in jiu-jitsu for international competition. They call it masters. If you're over 30, it's masters.
That's it. They have it in hockey as well, except I think masters starts over 40s for hockey. Well, our national, domestic WA league that we have.
Oh, look, I mean, I think wow, this has just broken my brain a little bit, because I'm thinking about how younger players absolutely trash their bodies because they play for, 12, 18 hours a day, ridiculous amount of hours, and they, end up with all these occupational injuries and have to retire at 25 or 28. Imagine if there was built-in longevity to their esports career, where then, you move into the Masters League and you move into the, I don't know, the Silver League after that. It might help people frame their careers a little bit differently and focus on, the longevity of their body rather than smashing it in the prime leagues. Anyway.
Riot, Halo, hit us up. We got some ideas.
Yeah. We're ready. I'm ready to support this.
That's it. Yeah. But I think that's about it for us, unless you got something else that we to talk about there, Natty.
No, that is us for this week. There's always lots of little pockets of things going on all around the place. There's AEL's running lots of university league stuff at the moment. So, Aussie esports it's just around the corner no matter where you look at the moment.
Did BAM just finish, or is it still going at the moment?
BAM is this weekend.
Ah, there you go.
This weekend coming up. So for anybody in Melbourne, head over to the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. The BAM is on, which is the biggest Battle Arena Melbourne, biggest fighting game tournaments in Australia. So definitely go and check that out. I'm so jealous. I went to Melbourne last weekend and I was like, damn it, why wasn't BAM on this weekend?
One of the local radio stations here is running like a competition to win 10 grand towards travel, and I'm going, I could win that. And like, because I've got my tickets booked for PAX and my flights booked for that. And I'm sitting there going, I'd really like to go for like the season 4 and season 5 ANZ PL finals, and then there's DreamHack as well, and it's just like, I could do with that 10 grand and just do fund my esports trips for the year.
I was so excited. I actually got to pop in before I went to the airport to Fortress to check it out. It's so cool.
Jealous.
Absolute gamer's dream. Yeah. And I was sitting in the pub for a while and seeing all these new players enjoying D&D as well. Like it's a great atmosphere.
So cool. Can't wait to get over there and see some of that stuff. Cool. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you for joining us tonight, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. Been a pleasure, Natty, as always.
Pleasure as always, Jim. Look forward to our Wednesdays.
No, and we will see everybody next week. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. If you like what you've seen, why not check out this video here? Or if you really like us, drop us a subscribe. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.